The ocean didn't give birth to a goddess. It acted as a crime scene for a celestial murder. We've all seen the famous paintings, the beautiful woman standing on a seashell, golden hair flowing, looking like a dream made of sea breeze. But that image is a lie designed to help you sleep at night. The true origin of Aphrodite isn't found in a shell. It's found in the jagged remains of a titan's anatomy, severed by a jagged flint sickle and hurled into the churning waves by a son who hated his father. This wasn't a magical birth. It was a biological chemical reaction between the immortal blood of Uranus, the king of the heavens, and the corrosive salt of the primordial sea. What rose from that white, bubbling foam wasn't just love. It was a force of nature so raw and so terrifying that the other gods immediately realized their world had changed forever. They didn't see a daughter. They saw a predator wrapped in silk. Today, we're stripping away the Renaissance art and the Valentine's Day cards to look at the gore of the goddess. We're going back to the moment the sky was castrated and the sea became a womb for the most dangerous weapon on Mount Olympus. This is the mystery of the Pale One, the goddess who was born from a scream and perfected by the tide.
Unveil the legends.
To understand the birth, you have to understand the victim. Uranus was the sky, vast, heavy, and oppressive. He hated his children and buried them alive within the earth. In an act of cosmic rebellion, his son Kronos waited in the shadows with a sickle. When the blade struck, the ichor, the golden blood of the gods, didn't just spill, it ignited. As the severed parts of the Sky King hit the water near the island of Cyprus, the ocean didn't just absorb them, it began to boil. The reaction created a Philomedes, a froth of white, thick, and supernatural foam that stretched for miles. This foam was a concentrated essence of desire mixed with agony. It was a genetic cocktail of the highest order. For days, the waves churned with a strange bioluminescent light. The fish fled, and the birds went silent. From the center of this swirling, bloody vortex, a shape began to form. It wasn't born as an infant. She emerged as a fully realized, devastatingly beautiful woman. This is the out-of-the-box mystery. Aphrodite is technically older than most of the Olympians. She is a Titan-class entity, a remnant of the primordial era disguised as a lover. When she stepped onto the shores of Cyprus, the grass didn't just grow. It bloomed with such intensity that it choked the surrounding life. Everything she touched was overwhelmed by her presence. The gods on Olympus felt her arrival like a seismic shift. They were used to the logic of thunder, the strategy of war, and the coldness of death. They weren't prepared for Charis, the irresistible grace that Aphrodite carried in her skin, but beneath that grace was the gore. Because she was born from violence, her version of love is inherently violent. It is an obsession that bypasses the brain and attacks the nervous system. The Greeks called her the unsmiling one in her darker shrines because they knew her origins were rooted in the ultimate betrayal of a father by a son. She walked toward Olympus not as a petitioner, but as an invader. Every god who looked at her felt a piece of their sanity dissolve. Zeus, the king of lightning, found his knees shaking. Ares, the god of war, forgot how to hold a sword. They realized that this foam-born goddess held a power that lightning couldn't strike and walls couldn't keep out. She was the inescapable one. The mystery of her birth explains why her love often ends in tragedy, war, and blood. You cannot have the flower without the soil, and Aphrodite's soil was the mutilated remains of the heavens. The biology of Aphrodite is a masterpiece of divine deception. She is often described as having laughter-loving eyes, but those who looked too closely saw the reflection of the white foam. The cold, unfeeling depth of the ocean. She is the only goddess who doesn't have a mother. She is Urania, the heavenly one, born of the sky alone. This makes her an anomaly, a pure strain of divine ego that doesn't understand human limits. Think about the sea foam itself. It is beautiful, yes, but it is also a waste product of the ocean's turbulence. It is temporary, shifting, and impossible to grip. This is the essence of Aphrodite's power. She offers a dream that you can never quite hold on to, a phantom of perfection that leads men to ruin. The gore isn't just in her birth, it's in the wake she leaves behind. And behind every beautiful smile in her myth is a trail of broken families, fallen kings, and burnt cities. She is the sea's greatest prank on the land, a monster that looks like a masterpiece. There is a secret ritual that the ancients used to perform to honor her bloody origin. They would offer her the blood of the sky, wine mixed with sea salt, to remind her of the moment she was formed. They knew that if they forgot her violent beginnings, she would remind them with a violent end. The mystery of Aphrodite is that she is the only god who can turn a hero into a slave without ever touching a weapon. She uses the ichor in her own veins to rewrite the desires of everyone around her. This is why, in the oldest temples, she was often depicted as Aphrodite Aurea, Aphrodite the warlike. She was shown wearing armor and carrying a spear. The Greeks understood that love and war are just two different sides of the same bloody foam. They are both states of total madness. They are both born from a sickle strike to the status quo. By the time she reached the gates of Olympus, the gore had been washed away by the tides, replaced by a glow that blinded the gods. But the salt was still in her hair, and the hunger of the deep was still in her heart. As we look at the horizon where the sky meets the sea, we are looking at the birthplace of a nightmare dressed as a daydream. Aphrodite remains the most successful undercover agent in the history of the gods. She made us believe that love is a gift, when her own history proves it is a debt paid in blood. The next time you see the white foam of a wave crashing against the shore, don't just see the beauty. See the residue of a celestial crime. See the origin of a goddess who was born from the sky's pain and the sea's hunger. Aphrodite isn't just the goddess of love. She is the goddess of the beautiful chaos. She is the gore that we've learned to call grace. And as long as the sea continues to churn, the foam will continue to rise, waiting for the next heart to shatter in her name, for the